Welcome back, and we have been watching one of the most interesting, important championships taking place for the first time in Egypt, in Sahl Hashish. Well, actually, Egypt hosted the third edition of the World Taekwondo Beach Championship in the Red Sea Resort of Sahl Hashish. And of course, Nile TV was there and got some views and interviews with the players to find out more about this unique event. Dina.
And of course, right now with us live in the studio is the main diva of the event. Of course, she is a pride to all Egyptians, and in particular to the Egyptian women. She is the first woman, young woman, the youngest also, to take that particular exclusive post in the Arab Taekwondo Union, or in the history rather of Arab Taekwondo Union. We have with us Ms. Fouly, and she is the first woman, young woman, to be elected as Vice President of the Arab Taekwondo Union, and she's also licensed manager in the World Taekwondo for Africa, Middle East, Eastern Europe, and that includes Russia and other countries also inside the Middle East. When we talk about a young woman, a vibrant Egyptian, beautiful young girl, and she's attaining such an important, one of the firmest and most important sports in martial arts, which was really circled and excluding women for a while, even worldwide, and only entitled with men. But when we talk about an Egyptian young woman, and she attains that position and attains these championships, and bring pride to Egypt and bring pride to Egyptian women, that is a big event. And we have to record it live, and we have also to meet her and talk to her and meet this character and exchange the views with her, and she's going to tell us about her experience. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, and just as I have said right now, first event to take place in Sahl Hashish, I would like to start by talking about this important event. We have seen some interviews with the ambassador of South Korea to Egypt and president of the International Federation of Taekwondo, talking about this important event taking place for the first time ever in Egypt.
Okay, let me just explain a little bit about the importance of beach taekwondo for the World Taekwondo, or from the World Taekwondo's perspective. We are always, all sports are in competition to stay in the Olympics. And taekwondo is always karate and other martial arts to stay in the Olympic. In that spectrum, we are trying to make taekwondo always up to date, always attractive to the spectators, always there and always wanted in the market. So beach taekwondo has been the latest product or the latest project for taekwondo in this area. We have the first time beach taekwondo championship or world championship took place was in Rhodes, Greece, 2 years ago, and then the year after was also in Rhodes because it was extremely successful. It was very hosting for all the players, for all the guests, and it was very attractive. So last year, Mr. President Dr. Chong Won-cho, the World Taekwondo President, said no more Rhodes. Aren't there any other beaches that can host it? So General Fouly, the President of World Taekwondo Africa and the Vice President of the World Taekwondo, said, yes, we do. We do have in Egypt lots of beaches, and we're hosting it next year. In a way, that was a sense of pride, and it was very critical moment in our history. However, it only gave us less than 1 year to work on that event. We all didn't work in the beach taekwondo because it has different rules in the referee, in the rules of the competition itself. So the preparation, it wasn't only just hosting another event. It was all new to all of us here in Egypt and Africa. So we really worked hard for lots of months together as a team, and we had, or personally, I had a challenge to say, you know what, no, this is Sahl Hashish, this is Egypt. We have some place, we are going to compete globally, and we are going to top what has been done the past 2 years. So I hope we reach that, because already the president, all the other guests were alert and were very amazed with the 3-day competition. Even Mr. President extended his stay and for a holiday after the competition, which is quite rare because he travels a lot. And we were all very proud of this achievement and this result.
So here we have not only one event, a sports event, but also a touristic one. What you're doing is exclusively one of the top-notch promotional campaigns for Sahel Hashish and the beaches in Egypt. We have an Egyptian queen who is taking the lead in a martial arts championship and attaining a position that is unprecedented in the Arab Taekwondo Union, and lots of other elements that might qualify Egypt and put it on the touristic map on a different level.
It's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Really,
I'm
because
only
we are
doing
all, we are amazed. When we arrived here in the studio, everybody was so proud and they wanted to meet you and greet you and everything. And imagine foreigners coming over and thinking about Egypt, the status of women, when they see an Egyptian woman attaining that position in a martial arts sports, that's quite an event. If you like to elaborate.
You know, I started volunteering when I was 8. So it has always been part of my life, and Taekwondo has always been part of my life. So, and I started actually volunteering in Tourist Friends Association. So the touristic and attracting tourists and welcoming tourists, more or less, has always been part of what I've been doing ever since I was a kid. So when I had that accompanied with Taekwondo or my position in Taekwondo, it never left the back of my mind. I always I'm hosting and I'm doing my job, but I can't forget this part or this cause that I've been doing. The position, I never really put my mind into, okay, this is the position, I have to have this desk and this office and meet those people. All the competition days I was in my shorts or my swimsuits, and I'm just moving around, and I think this is what we want to show the world. We want to show the world that Egypt, yes, we have the Sphinx, yes, we have the pyramids, yes, we have the history, but let's be frank, that only attracts some kind of tourists. Not the young tourists, not the sports tourists, not the honeymooners, and not the people that are into adventure or into this other kind of tourism, although we do have the capabilities and we have the resources. So in Sahel Hashish Beach Taekwondo Championship, I wanted to show this Egypt, the young Egypt, the cool Egypt. I made sure that even the logo looked young. We didn't have any pharaohs in the logo. We didn't have any formal events. Even the lunches and the VIP galas and all that, it was said that it should be casual. Yes, we showed this. The music was young. We showed this kind of Egypt. All the volunteers were very young students, and because we wanted to show that. We don't want to get trapped in one frame. And even in my position in the Arab Taekwondo Union, that's what I want to focus on. Of course, all the other board members and the president are my uncles, and they're not bosses because I've been raised in this family. So they're my uncles, they're my big brothers, they're my masters and teachers. But my value added has to be something that has to do with who I am and what I'm there for. I wanted to include more women as coaches, more women in the official level, more women. We have athletes, we have female athletes, we have referees, female referees in Egypt and around the world, but we want to have more presence. Like in the World Taekwondo, it's the same. It's not just in the Arab world. In the World Taekwondo, you know, it's solely based in Seoul, South Korea. And it's also a patriarchal society. It's always dominated by males. So I'm the young girl, even when I have like this kind of friction as it's happening in any other job. I had the boss of my boss, we had the chat, I told him, why after the promotion we had this conflict and this and that? He told me, Azza, it's a man's world. You are going to be fought. So get ready, toughen up, you're a Taekwondo player. So I was like, all right.
You know, just as you're talking right now, talking about the whole idea, and you want to show who you are I want you also to tell us more about you, because you have selected a very tough game, as you mentioned. Sometimes we have children who start practicing or playing, then they quit later when she starts to be a female, a big a big lady, of course. But the most important part that you continued and you proved yourself, as you mentioned, definitely it was not that easy.
It's not easy, but if you have a passion for something, you'll always be doing it, right?
And you gave up, for sure, other things for the sake of this game.
Not the things that mattered.
Yes.
I didn't give up. I'm a very proud single mom, and I love being a mother. I love to nurse my kids. I love to be there for their activities, for their plays, for the trainings, for everything that has to do. So I'm 100% mother. I don't like to have a nanny taking care of the kids. I have 3 and I have 2 dogs. I love this kind of my life as well. And I never thought that Taekwondo was affecting it in any way. Actually, they joined this life. Like, my 2 kids were with me volunteering in the championship. And I did talk with their schools and I told them, okay, 10 days off. They need to learn something different than the book. And they were because their school is actually a very, you know, it's one school that I'm very proud of because it really promotes sports and it respects it and it respects this kind of social responsibility. So these things that I really care about, being a female and all that, never really affected or was affected by Taekwondo.
This is what made you that successful, I believe so, in your...
Actually, it all went together. The pieces all fell into place.
Just allow me to go back to take a look again at this championship, the important beach taekwondo in Sahla Hashish, to take a look more about it and more about some of our interviews that were held during this championship.
Thailand continued their domination on the final day of the 2019 World Taekwondo Beach Championships in Sahla Hashish, Egypt, winning 41 medals over the 3-day event, just under half of the total medals on offer. On the final day, athletes competed in the freestyle dynamic kicks and breaking challenge, as well as technical breakings and high kick performance.
This championship is about Taekwondo, but a part of Taekwondo that is acrobatic. It's like the art of Taekwondo. It's like, I don't know how to tell this, but it's the way that we can do Taekwondo and all people can see what is and see our art. Urgada, it's beautiful. It's a paradise, yes. We have there the Red Sea, this is beautiful, and there all deserts and all resorts, it's beautiful. I love this city, I love it, and the people are very nice, it's amazing.
Best men coach was awarded to the host nations Ahmed Khidr, and Thailand's Neon Lee was awarded the best women coach after the country's dominance throughout the whole competition.
Actually, we joined the first and second World Beach, but this is the first time at Egypt, and then we went to first time Hurghada. It was a really nice city, and then we are very pleased. We join here, we compete here, and then also we got best team because we got a lot of medals. So we are so happy, and then we are enjoy here.
The best man Pumzai athlete went to Egypt's Abdel Fattah al-Sayed, and the best women Pumzai athlete was awarded to Ornawi Sri Shakit from Thailand. For the best breaking athlete awards, Miguel Barrero Estevez and Anastasia Sumenkova won the men's and women's categories respectively.
Yesterday I obtained the gold medal, and today the silver medal on freestyle pair over 18.
The best men referee award was given to Pablo Garcia of Spain, while the best women referee went to Amani Abdel Fattah from Egypt.
This championship is quite different from recognized Pumse because it is outside and we have some other disciplines as well, like a breaking challenge and a freestyle kick, and yeah, it's different. It is totally different systems. Kyrgyz is about hitting, scoring some points, and Pumse is about performing in some particular way where we look at balance, we look at strength, we look at precision and yeah, presentation, general presentation.
I think it's a wonderful championship here in Egypt. It's the first time it's being held here, and the weather is fantastic. The OC has done a wonderful job arranging everything, so we are very happy to be here. My team has done a really great job actually. We are a small team this time, only 2 people participating, but Iceland is a smaller country, so we got a bronze medal yesterday, so we're very happy about that.
Welcome back. Azza Fouly, she is a vice president to the Arab Taekwondo Union, the first one in the Arab world, and also she's a licensed manager in the World Taekwondo for Africa, Middle East, Eastern Europe, and of course all the rest of the Middle East. We're very proud of her. Going back to you, Azza, tell me first about the belt, the different belts that you have attained. And of course, your parents and your upbringing have a great background to play. I mean, this cultural boost that your parents, especially your father, the man, the male, have endorsed inside you, that spirit, that he is so proud of you. Probably you weren't born as a champion. You were such a normal, average girl. But that father, that male, that he boosted that courage inside you and empowered you with his strength, and even taught you that you can do it and you're able to achieve anything. And you became that person he wanted you to be. Talk to us about your upbringing and that enforcement that a parent could give to a girl or a kid so that they become heroes when they grow up.
Okay, I'll tell you something funny, because it breaks a lot of stereotypes. My dad and me, obviously, come from Upper Egypt, okay? With all the stereotypes that girls should shut up, girls should stay quiet, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. Believe it or not, the most powerful women I met in Egypt were from Upper Egypt.
Yes, this is true.
They're originally from Upper Egypt.
The most civilized also.
Exactly. So I'm not going to be biased, but this is a fact.
Yeah.
We were raised in a way, my dad, and he was raised because my granddad was also a major figure in sports. He's the one who introduced hockey to Egypt. He's the one who was the president of the cycling Egyptian Federation. He was into this kind of social responsibility and community responsibility. And in a way, it was transferred to my dad, who also has been, although he was a police officer, which took 99% of his time and his efforts, he never forgot about social responsibility. He never forgot about him volunteering in sports and the federations and being part of it and being part of the Olympic. He was a member in the Olympic Committee at some time, in the Egyptian Olympic Committee, and so on. I was looking at those figures, and we never had this, oh, you're a girl, you're not going to do that, but the boys can. My brothers, we are 2 brothers and 2 sisters. We have, from the boys, we have who are interested in sports and who isn't. And from the girls, we have the interested in sports and work and who isn't. Or into, my sister's more into home businesses and arts and crafts and all that. So my dad and my mom raised us in a way that be successful in whichever you choose. And that's my message to my kids as well. I will never enforce some kind of life on them, but I will just tell them, pick something and be the star of it. be a clown, be the best clown. If you want to be a clown, just be the best one. That's how I was raised. He raised me in a way that, okay, go for it. Don't worry, don't cry. I remember last May in Manchester in the World Championship for Kirigi, for the sparring, for the fights. I was on my own there and having lots of politics and lots of fights there. So I was calling him like, Daddy, this is happening and that. He said, never show weakness. You can do it. Go back to the room and cry, but never show weakness. He was mentoring me until just last May. He was always with me, side by side. My mom has even, she's not from the background of Taekwondo or the sports, but she always gives me this kind of strong woman character. She's a housewife, but she's the star of being a housewife. And so that's our benchmark. Choose and pick, no prejudice. Being a non-working woman is also something very, very cool. But be excellent in it.
Right. I can't even end this segment because we're really very proud of you, Ms. Azza Al Fouly, the champion, the first woman to be elected as a vice president in the history of Arab Taekwondo Union. You're also a licensed manager in the World Taekwondo for Africa, Middle East, Eastern Europe. You're many other things.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
having
much.
me.
Thank you. And we're going to go to a short break and continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.